I'm your host, Phatman.
And I'm Littleboy.
And this is our weekly Netcast podcast for
August 4th, 2012.
September 4th,
Oh,
2012.
September. I wrote down August, too. You want to hear something really funny is, at my work, I have to write dates on a lot of things. My one job here is to get the date right, which I screwed up already.
There you go.
But all day long today, I've been writing September 3rd on everything. All day long it's been September 3rd for me, so I...
So basically, everybody's been getting a Labor Day discount.
Yes. I messed up on my day job, and now my night job.
There you go. Oh, my gosh.
I messed up in two completely separate ways. One of them I got the day wrong, and the other one I got the month wrong.
Wow. Okay, well, anyway, it is September 4th.
Yes.
And this is our weekly Netcast podcast.
Yes.
Little boy, how was your week?
Week's been good. I want to give a quick shout-out to one of our faithful watchers, Ray. Yesterday was his birthday.
Ray gave us this.
He sure did.
Oh, happy birthday, Ray. How old was Ray?
You'll have to ask him, but you want to hear something funny, is his wife, her birthday is today. His
Why is that
birthday is
funny?
yesterday because they are the same age for one day.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
She's 1 year...
She's 364 days older than him.
Older than him. Oh, okay.
So
I have an older wife,
yesterday
too.
they were the
just a lot older.
Yesterday they were the same age for the one day they are every year, and now today is her birthday. So happy birthday, Mary, if you're watching, and happy birthday to Ray, our faithful listener who gives us cool stuff.
You know, I'm a huge Star Trek fan, and I got to ask you: did you ever see that Star Trek: The Next Generation, where they were in their the space shuttle? Or their
Star Trek fan?
Trek fan. Anyway, they were in that shuttle thing, and they were on their way back to the Enterprise from something, and they went through these like riffles in space that move time forward or backwards.
Isn't that every episode?
Nah, but this one was really cool. Anyway, I'd have to hit that and be in the time forward, for a while, and then I could share one day of age with my wife.
It's going to be a rough night for you there, fat man. It's going to be a rough night for you there, fat man.
Yeah. By the way, our producer Jen, is my wife. So she's in there talking right now.
And I hear that Fat Man likes the couch.
Yeah. Apparently,
he's a fan of camping.
A lot.
I'm a fan of the leather couch. Anyway, little boy, you know what? Speaking of September, we talked about this last month. I cannot believe how fast this, the whole year is going by. And and this is very hard to explain because the way it sounds, it doesn't sound right. But my youngest daughter is on her first day of the last school year.
Yes.
Of her life. Well, she's going to go to college, but it's the last high school year.
Right.
And shout out to her. I don't want to say her name on the air, but...
Today is my oldest daughter's first day of 11th grade. She has...
I'll say her name. Go Hunter.
So, and same thing for you, too, but this is my last kid.
Yeah.
That's it. Then they're all out of, regular school, and, my oldest daughter started college.
Out of your hair.
No. My oldest daughter started college, and she's in college, but my youngest one, I just can't believe it. I cannot believe that time is that long. Now, and you see my age, so just imagine my wife's age. No. But, anyway, good luck to you, kid. You're going to do great this year. So, listen, we have a good, long show.
Batman, one more thing.
Yes, go ahead.
Make this a great show, because this is probably your last.
Anyway, we have a lot to talk about. Now, in our show notes, we didn't have anything about it, but last week we had the Republican convention.
Did you watch? I didn't watch all of it. I watched bits and pieces of it, Democratic convention actually starts tonight, and I'll probably watch bits and pieces. The conventions are more of a rah-rah, let's cheer our base, cheer up our base. I'm really interested, I've said it before, I'm really interested in the debates. Quick note to the producer, somebody said that the stream is off the air. I don't know if it's working or not, but I got a message that it's off the air. Anyways, the debates are what I look forward to. That the conventions, whatever, it's just more cheerleading than anything. So I probably won't watch too much of the Democratic one. I didn't watch too much of the Republican one.
I watched the whole Republican. Well, I taped a lot of it because it was quite long. I watched the Republican convention. I'm going to tape the Democrat and watch the Democratic convention too. And the only reason why is what's interesting to me is watching the different announcers, because I watched the Republican convention not through Fox, which you would expect that I would watch it through, but I watched it through MSNBC, and because I wanted to see their, how they would act towards the Republicans. And, Chris Matthews, I don't know why he doesn't just put a big sticker on, I'm a liberal. Everything I say, understand it. I'm a liberal, even though I pretend I'm not. But he is, oh, my gosh.
You can make the same argument for every...
No, I know that, but that's why I did it. Because, you're right, I didn't need to be rah-rahed up. But I wanted entertainment, and it's entertainment to watch somebody like that.
The news is a joke now anyways. The news,
it is.
It's not news anymore.
No,
it's
it
just
is not.
all, they all have agendas. Both of them. Both
all
sides.
Of them.
It's all a mess. It's not the news anymore.
So now I'm going to watch the Democratic convention through Fox News, and I want to see how they do it, Well, because, I like to do that just because that's the interesting part. They don't talk as much through the speeches, but when I was watching Chris Matthews, he was talking through the speeches. He was not the whole speech, but he was like, if there was a talking point that he had different information on, he would, they're wrong.
You had said that. Did you find any footage of that? I would be interested
none
to
on
see
YouTube,
that.
none at all. Now I know MSNBC holds their own, and we should find some. But it was interesting to me because he had this panel, and like the panel of 4 or 5 guys, and one of them was a staunch Republican.
Had the panel talk while people were giving speeches?
Nobody else except for him would say, that's not true. I was there, and that's it. Well, Chris Matthews, he's kind of an idiot anyway, so you get that,
we throw that word idiot around too much.
Idiot comes from ideological. So
yeah, but that's not what people take that.
No.
People take it as they don't know. And the problem is, and I'm a little bit guilty of it too, and I'm trying to watch that. Just because somebody thinks differently than you doesn't mean they're an idiot. It just means they think differently than you.
He's got different thoughts.
We were talking about a local sports guy earlier today, and I was telling you, I might have used the word idiot. I'm not sure. I really try not to use that anymore because just because someone thinks, no matter how stupid you think their idea is, doesn't mean they're stupid.
Their idea.
It's their idea. It's just different. Yeah. If it's completely different than yours, then it's different than yours. It doesn't make them stupid.
What I had a question for you is...
Stream's working again, by the way.
Oh, it's okay, good. I know we're not going to do too much politics tonight because we got a lot of stuff to talk about, special medical marijuana, but the one question I always get upset about is watching both candidates and how they say they have a plan.
Right.
I have a plan that's going to do this, and I have a plan that's going to do that. And Obama has his plan, and President Obama has his plan, and candidate Romney has his plan. Now, Romney, I really can't say anything. He's not in office. So he has a plan. I don't think there is any actual plan, but that's his plan, right?
You're saying there's a plan.
Yeah, but so does President Obama. And I think to myself, you've been in office for 4 years. Why are you holding out on this plan? Come up with this plan at the beginning. I think the truth is there is no plan. Nobody has a plan. It's just something they say.
The problem with politics, I'm going to sound like a broken record.
Yeah.
Is the way that the politics works right now is they can't be out to help the people. They have to be out to help the people who got them elected. And that's a small piece. The people, how many people are in the United States?
300 million.
And would you say 0.01% of the population are the most important on our.
I'm just as important as them.
I know, that's why I stopped that. Had the most influence on getting them elected.
Oh, sure, money.
So it's very hard.
Most expensive presidential election ever.
And every single one of them is that.
But it's funny is when you're done, I want to tell you. Go ahead, talk.
It's very difficult for these politicians you try to pander to everybody, but you take money from this small little group, and you have to govern and still keep those people happy because that's where you got your money from. And we can get way more into it, but that's one of the major problems.
Well, the question is, why even say that? Who are they? Is it that they think people are stupid?
Yes. People are stupid.
Well, people are stupid. Doesn't that show you something that all politicians across the board, they're just full of crap?
They are.
Absolutely. Because to be honest with you, there is no way if anybody had a plan that actually would work that they wouldn't have implemented it in the first day.
I'm going to say this. I'm going to ask you this question again. I ask it quite often. What is the number one thing that a politician, after they get elected, what is their number one job?
Getting
their number
reelected.
One priority is getting reelected.
Right.
Number one priority. And if any of them tells you different, they're lying.
No, they have to because that's their job.
So that's the major thing that's wrong with politics.
Yeah. Okay. So this reelected. So anyway, it was just a plan thing. The plan kept coming out. And I know we're going to hear it all through the Democratic convention. There is no plan.
Yeah, nobody says they have. They might have a plan, but they won't tell you what it is because if they get too detailed, they'll piss off people.
If they really had a plan, he would have implemented it.
Right.
Okay, that's the plan. You know what I'm saying? They don't have a plan. They just say it. So what?
Okay.
So I got our producer telling us how long we're in already. Gosh, she's gonna make me mad tonight. She's gonna kick us off.
All right, let's talk a little bit of Chipotle.
Chipotle Mexican Grill. Go ahead.
Now, what do I refer to Chipotle as? The happiest place on earth.
You like Chipotle?
I really like Chipotle.
I'm not a huge fan, but
I don't go there as often as I used to.
We used to go all the time. We used to go every Wednesday.
A lot of calories in those burritos, even though it's better for you. I would assume than just like getting a burger from Jack in the Box or whatever.
We don't know. They cook in lard. Who knows?
Right.
California.
They don't cook in lard.
Nobody can.
Yeah. But and it's if you get the chicken and stuff, I just really like them. I think that they're really, really good. They started a policy where they were rounding all of the bills to the nearest nickel. They weren't rounding them all up, though. It would round up or it would round down.
But it still was
to the nearest
doing
nickel. So it was doing that. So, if your total was $5.33, they just said $5.35. And their reasoning for it was they felt it sped things up. When you deal with less pennies, it speeds things up, And people threw an absolute fit.
They stole money from people. That's stealing. That is stealing. I know this is going to be something that I don't know how you're going to really land on this, but this is stealing.
How
you're
ridiculous.
Is it their penny? How's that ridiculous?
Because they're rounding both ways, so they're giving and taking.
Okay, but what if you're the guy who they take from?
I don't care.
Every single time.
I don't care.
It doesn't matter. They're stealing from
you.
If
they went $5.31 and said the bill was $5.35, I would rather get back no pennies.
No.
So
listen, it doesn't matter. Have you ever heard a penny saved is a penny earned?
I think it's ridiculous for people to throw a fit about this. Absolutely ridiculous.
I would. That's stealing. Now, if they always rounded down,
which they changed it to, now they do that.
Then that's fine. Okay, hey, look, you're rounding down all the time. That's great. But when they rounded up, they took money that wasn't theirs. Isn't that the whole?
Do you think that was their point? You think that was the reason for doing it?
It doesn't matter, but they were. You know what I mean? Do you think?
Yeah.
Do you think that it's okay to take someone's money without asking them? I mean, isn't that robbery?
I don't think that's what that is.
I'm asking you a question, though. I know you're going on pennies, but what I'm saying is you're taking what doesn't belong to you. That's stealing.
You're technically correct.
And you're taking money, which is robbery.
Right. You're technically correct, but I just disagree with you. I think it's not that big of a deal. And I think anybody who makes a huge deal
I'm chiming in on this
about 1 or 2 pennies is...
What do you got?
I can't say it.
Oh, come on. Well, actually, our producer wants to talk, so let her talk.
Because it
Go
is
ahead.
1 or 2 pennies that you're talking about. But for somebody that goes there, someone that goes there all the time, it's going to be 1 or 2 pennies. But you add those up, and if you're saying it's $5.33 and they're charging you $5.35.
Right. Yeah. 2 pennies. 2 pennies was the most that you'd have to.
They take 2 pennies from you every single time, and you eat there a lot. That adds up.
Yeah, I mean,
people that save their money and their change. We know
365. If you went there every day for a whole year, it would be less than $8 in a whole year.
It's money.
That's 2 gallons.
And no,
of gas.
Kristen, I am not. But it is pennies, and pennies. I know that people say it's pennies, but where does it end?
How ridiculous!
Where does it end? Listen, if they want to do down all the time, I'd have no problem.
Let me ask you,
because that's like giving you a gift.
Which they did. But let me ask you this. Do you think that they, in their mind, thought, hey, we can make money on this? Do you
I have
think
a question.
That had part of
Maybe.
You really think that was part of it?
Here's the thing. You're talking about you and I. But say they have 1 million people
I understand.
shop at
Chipotle. I understand the potential. What I'm asking you is, do you think them trying to make extra money had anything to do with the decision?
Yes, because they were trying to make money in time. They were trying to make money in time. They were trying to speed it up. Well, I mean, you asked me about anything at all.
No. Let's not do the typical fat man turn this into something else.
You know what? I don't know, but
I
I do know that when McDonald's went from the 99-cent menu to the dollar menu, that 1 penny brought them in $100 million a year.
Right.
So
that's fine. The only thing that Chipotle should have done, which I can fault them for, is they should have put up signs saying, in order to speed up, blah 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 blah, we are now rounding all final bills to the nearest nickel. If you have a problem with that, see the manager.
Well,
and he could have walked around with a handful of nickels, and if anybody threw a fit, say, here's your nickel.
Why even do it? Because that time does not save their time for pennies.
I
think it actually does. I think it does.
Having a guy walk around and do that?
Oh, no.
How many
people do you think would? How many people would really complain?
I bet you there would be a lot.
I bet you there would not.
And it depends on where.
I bet you there would not be.
And depending on where. There is parts of this country that I guarantee you that would, because they look at their receipts to the penny. They tip to the exact cent.
I know. Isn't that
and there
crazy?
is people like that. And let me tell you, those people would have a problem.
All right.
Would I have a problem with it? I ate at Chipotle all the time. Do I feel like I was robbed? No. But
They weren't
now
doing
that
it here.
I
They
know,
weren't doing it here in California, I don't think.
oh, they probably couldn't get away with it, to be honest with you, because all of that stuff is so regulated. But the question is, you'd have to go through all of their stuff, and where do they cut off the round? You know what I mean? Because 5 cents is impossible to round in the number 5. You only get 1 and 2 for the lower,
And
3, 4,
and 5
for the higher.
upper.
So basically, it's not 50-50 because it's
I
no
know.
2.5.
You know, and the thing
so
is,
if they said no, well, here's what I'm saying. That say you have 100 people going in there, you're rounding up to 60 people.
I see what
on
you're
average.
saying. Right. I see
So
what you're
so
saying.
do you think money had a little bit
No.
to do with it? You don't think at all that even one bean counter there said, and we'll make a little extra money?
No,
Really?
I don't.
Wow.
You know, and I think the mistake that they made was not putting up a sign, and I think they also should have not only put up a sign, but say, maybe our accounting department at the end of the year will donate, and if we make money, this is not a money-making thing.
I understand, but they can't do that. It's just you're just taking people's money. Now, going the opposite way, they'll stop that, and they won't do it very long. You know why they won't do it very long? Because that money lost now will be huge. We're talking you and I eating there
Right.
once a week, but when you're talking millions and millions and millions of people, those numbers are going to get quite large.
Yeah. McDonald's has a
100 million.
lot more people that go
Well,
to them. though.
right. But I'm just saying that was
we're talking
100 million
different
for a
scale.
penny. Now they could be
Yeah.
giving away 2 cents.
Right.
Up
A
to
much
2
smaller
cents.
scale, though.
But it doesn't matter.
McDonald's-
But
yeah.
they could be giving up to 2 cents away for it might cost them $3 or $4 million.
I think it's just ridiculous making a fuss about a nickel.
Well,
or
speaking of
2
businesses,
pennies
let's
is
talk.
ridiculous.
I know we want to talk about the medical marijuana issue, but again, we need to have a call in. I want to get a call in from someone.
Yeah.
I do want you to read the article. We'll talk about it a little bit, but I think it's been over a year. Well, it's been a year since our last show about medical marijuana, serious show, and I think we
Right.
should have another show because some statistics are starting to come out now. And go ahead and read about it.
Well, they're
And
talking
this is in
about
Health Day.
heavy marijuana use in teen years may lower your IQ later. They did a study. I think that it was in Australia or
New Zealand.
Mm-hmm. And they said that cannabis use in adolescence, while the brain is undergoing critical development, may have neurotoxic effects and is lowering IQs. They say on average of an 8-point drop, which doesn't seem like a lot, but
8
when you
points
think
could
about
be.
it like this, the average IQ is 100. So if your IQ is 100,
That low.
yeah, the average IQ is 100. We don't have all the 88 IQ that you have. Some people have 100. The average IQ is 100.
What did you say?
If you have a 100 IQ, that puts you in the 50th percentile.
Okay.
If you drop it down 8 points, it puts you in the 29th percentile.
Wow, 8 points does that much?
Yes. Yes.
And this is for somebody over 18, I'd imagine, or because how do they average an IQ? Because how would you go an IQ on a 6-year-old?
Average IQ, I don't know. It doesn't say what date.
All right,
what
anyway,
age.
but of whatever it is.
Right.
That's huge.
Yes.
No, that's huge. I had no idea.
Now,
I read the article, but gosh, I guess I kind of glanced over that.
My question though is, I don't have a this actually is not this is not accepted as fact or anything. This is just a preliminary test that they've done. There's a lot more things that they need to do about this, but who's fighting for adolescents to be able to smoke pot?
Well, here's a question for you.
Who thinks that should be right?
What
Who
if
thinks that
those
should be
same
legal?
numbers came out with a drug that people were taking, like a overweight drug or a blood pressure medicine or something like that? What would the FDA do to that?
To adolescents, they would not let them. If they said that it affected adolescents, they would probably make it so they couldn't prescribe it to them. But nobody is fighting for 8-year-olds or 13-year-olds to smoke pot.
No.
Nobody's out there fighting for that.
No, but one question
what if
that
you
we
take
had.
these same group of people and had them get? I mean, what did they say? They said they were getting high at least once a week.
Mm-hmm.
So what if they got drunk at least once a week? I bet you it would affect their brain too.
Probably.
Or if they hit themselves with a ball-peen hammer once a week, I think that would affect their brain too.
Well, yeah. Are you comparing marijuana to hitting yourself in the head with a ball?
I'm saying, first of all, marijuana might have health benefits. The proof is stuff. There's a lot of people who believe that. I actually do believe that it does. But you have drawbacks from everything. Just like taking high blood pressure medication has health benefits. but there's also there's also side effects. Actually, the fact that it's lowering your blood pressure is technically a side effect. That's what it does, and it's just one of the side effects you want it to do. You understand?
Mm-hmm.
You understand what I'm saying?
I'm listening to you.
Okay.
I'm sitting here listening to you. I'm not jumping
looking
into this. No, I don't agree. Because the FDA would pull this from the market in a heartbeat, and
but nobody's fighting for 13-year-olds to smoke weed.
Obviously, nobody is, but they're also not fighting for 13-year-olds to smoke cigarettes, and they do.
Right.
Well, the thing
but
is,
it's not legal. Nobody's fighting to legalize it.
You're absolutely right. And cigarettes are easier to get than marijuana, but they didn't do a study on that, did they? They did a study on the marijuana side.
Because I think they've done studies on cigarettes too. I'm not sure.
Well, sure, and I know it kills you all the way up till you're dead.
Right.
I mean, there is no, if you're a 2-year-old or you're a 60-year-old and you're smoking, it's gonna get you.
Yes.
Now, and we all know that cigarettes are bad. Cigarettes
but they're
bad.
legal.
But they're legal, but they're bad. They are bad for you.
Right.
Now, do they have the same kind of effect when you smoke a cigarette as they do for marijuana as far as, cognitive effects? No.
They don't know.
You mean to tell me that a person who smokes a cigarette is 100% not affected by it compared to marijuana?
What I'm saying is if you have a 13-year-old smoking cigarettes, I have a feeling it's going to affect their brain cells too.
I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about cognitive. It's a drug compared to, like, nicotine's a drug too, then.
Absolutely
but
it is.
The effects of
it's
nicotine...
a legal drug, though, but it's not legal for 13-year-olds.
No, it's not.
And nobody's fighting for 13-year-olds to smoke pot. That's the thing.
All they're showing in this thing was that this study shows that if kids do smoke it, and a lot of kids do. I mean,
young
we
kids,
gotta be honest,
while your brain is developing,
can mess you up.
Right. My guess is drinking alcohol will affect your brain.
I'm sure it will.
Smoking cigarettes will affect your brain.
Sure it will.
Hitting yourself with a hammer on the head will affect your brain. There's lots of things. Sniffing glue
and they
will
do
affect your brain. All those things, but none of those things are. It is not legal to sniff glue.
You're right. But why are you bringing any of that up when they're only talking about this particular item?
I'm just wondering, people who are against the legalization of marijuana will take a study like this and use that as part of their reasoning. Nobody is fighting for 13-year-olds to be able to smoke pot.
Remember we talked about last year, we said the one thing that we don't have is any research on long-term effects. That was one thing. There's just not research on long-term effects. Over the next 10 to 15 years, more research like this is going to come out. Why? Because they had time to do this study.
Right.
You know what I mean? They didn't have time to do the study from a 40-year-old who just starts to 60. You know, that hasn't happened yet. Well, this is just the first studies that are coming out. Now,
another thing is it's tough to study marijuana because it's illegal. So first of all, you got to find a group of people.
But it's not always illegal. It's not illegal in every place, and I don't know if it's illegal in New Zealand where this study was done.
To be honest with you, it doesn't say in the article. And the one thing about that is, my guess is if it's not illegal, it's probably illegal for a 13-year-old to smoke marijuana.
I'm sure. I would hope. Well, but you know what? In Amsterdam, they can buy drugs in the market.
Only in certain places. Though.
Yeah, but you can. You know, and that's the thing.
I have a question for you guys.
Go ahead. Are you on live with us?
Yes, I am.
Okay.
Okay, in this article, is this the one that talks about that the fact that their IQ drops?
Yeah.
Because what it is it's not just, if I understand the article correctly, it's not just that they go from having, say, the potential of having 100 IQ. Say they had 100 IQ at 13.
Right.
At 28 or something, when they're testing them again, their IQ is now 92. Well, a 13-year-old doesn't necessarily have the same IQ as a 28-year-old. So that means not only is it going backwards, it's not progressing either.
Well,
I see what you're saying there, but I don't know about that. But
we don't know enough about the IQ tests. IQ tests are a little bit not necessarily who was born on such and such date and that type of stuff. It's more of like a cognitive thing. And I was listening actually on, I'm trying to think of where I was listening to it. There was a guy, I think it was on a sports station, happened to be talking about this today or yesterday, and they were talking about how do we know that people's IQs don't drop between the age of 13 and 28 anyways.
I would hope my IQ at 13 and my IQ today would be a lot different. I think I'm quite a bit more intelligent. No, quite a bit more intelligent than I was at 28.
You're more intelligent. You know, it would be interesting.
At 13, I knew everything in the world. I know less today, which means my IQ's higher. All right, because when you know everything, you're stupid.
Yeah.
You know,
we had that discussion already.
I don't know. We don't know. I can go by personal experience over the last 2 weeks, and we've talked about it. I know people who smoke all the time who are just fine. I mean, you can't tell. Right. But I also have met quite a few people in something that we're doing right now that are daily users, and I got to tell you what, I look at them and I can't believe they.
But you don't
even
know
get
that
into a car.
they're that way because of marijuana.
Except that I have talked to their family.
Yeah, but they don't know that either. They
Well, they were with them the whole time. I mean, they
you
don't
know
them
everything that their family's doing. You don't know everything that those people are doing. They could be doing other things.
I know that there's a lot of flaky people in this world anyway, no matter what.
Whether you smoke weed or not,
Yeah, there's flaky
lots
people.
of flaky people in the world.
So I know that. So I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is, in what we have seen the last few weeks, without saying names,
but we have
the more flakier people have been daily
there's
users.
Plenty of
there's a lot of flaky people in this world. Don't get me wrong.
I think that
I had a rant about that the other day.
We can't draw any conclusions because
I'm
our
just going,
sample size.
I am not saying it's scientific. I'm just saying, in my own personal experience, from what we've been doing in the last few months, people who are and people who aren't, just non-scientific. They're all flakes, but some of them are higher of a flake.
And you think marijuana users are higher tendency to be flakes?
Not scientific. Now, I know some who aren't.
I agree with you a little bit because some people are just stupid.
Yeah.
And some people make themselves that way by their decisions in their life. But it makes them stupid anyway.
Yeah.
I like what you just said. That's funny. Because, and like I said, non-scientific. Now, this study is interesting. I would like to see more studies. I know we're going to see them as they come through.
I would too.
And you had said too to me that if the studies come back and start showing that there's issues, then it's something we really need to take a look at.
Absolutely.
And I said the same thing. If the studies come back and say that it really helps, which right now there hasn't been any.
We need to come and we need to. I think there have been actually for that. I think that we need to.
Here's
first
the difference.
of all, they need to find out.
There's pain management.
If the benefits outweigh the drawbacks, and you got to also remember everybody's different.
Does it fix anything, or is it just a pain issue? Because that's what we don't know.
Exactly.
We don't know that. All we know now is that the pain, like my cousin who had cancer, he took his THC pills because he wouldn't smoke marijuana, and it helped him with the pain. There was no other effect that helped him other than the pain.
Right, exactly.
So,
everybody's
the only
different.
Other one that is definitely out there is the nausea.
And that's what I'm saying. So it lets you eat. It helps you eat and stuff.
Exactly.
And that's fine. But there is drugs out there, just like morphine, that does nothing to help you. It just takes your pain away.
Most drugs aren't cure.
Well, that's not true. A lot of drugs do cure.
Most drugs are to take care of the symptoms.
You think most?
Yeah. I think so.
Well, I don't know. Because
unscientific. I don't know. I'm not a doctor.
If you take blood pressure medicine,
right,
its effect is to lower your blood pressure to keep you from having a stroke or heart attack.
But it's not curing whatever is causing you to have high blood pressure. It's treating the symptom.
I see what you're saying. No, you know what? I understand that. Except that it does.
It's not
some
curing.
of them do get some of the water out of your system.
There are some that do, but I think most just take care of symptoms. They don't cure. That's why people who go on blood pressure medication have to stay on it for the rest of their life. You're not curing anything. As a matter of fact, you're slowly hurting yourself because then you have because what it's helping for your blood pressure, it's also hurting your kidneys and stuff.
But
and that's why
trade-off is
the doctor has to weigh that. And the same thing with marijuana. We know that smoking marijuana is a carcinogen. So you are going to have lung issues and cancer issues and stuff. You have to decide. You need to weigh that out. Another thing is, my wife has epilepsy, and there are hundreds of epilepsy drugs. Now, if everybody's the same,
those are bad stuff.
Why isn't there just one? Because everybody's different.
Mm-hmm.
So for you, maybe marijuana would not help you at all. Maybe they would say this right here is actually what's going to take care of taking care of your symptom, but maybe this doesn't work for this person, and this doesn't, but weed does. Why not leave that as an option for people who, and like I said before, I'm totally pro medical marijuana, but I'm also pro if you want to smoke just to smoke marijuana, I don't have a problem with it.
That's my issue.
I know that's your
because
issue.
I would never say, hey, go out and take a Valium just because.
But you don't mind if people smoke cigarettes or drink alcohol.
I don't like cigarettes. I would make them illegal today.
You would make it illegal?
Oh, yes, I would. Yeah, because you know why? When they're smoking near me, they're infringing on me.
That's different. And California is on the forefront of those laws, and it's damn near impossible to smoke a cigarette anywhere now.
And that's great.
And I don't have a problem because I
was a smoker for years.
There's no reason, and there's no reason why the choice that you're making should affect other people. And it's very rude when you're in a crowd of people and somebody lights up and starts smoking.
Yeah,
my sister's a smoker, and she is very careful about where she's very self-conscious about where she smokes. Funny thing is, you know that I have in my whole entire life never smoked one cigarette?
Good, don't.
Just never have.
They're a horrible
Never have.
thing.
No.
And I smoked for years.
Yeah.
My ex-wife and I smoked. I mean, I smoked for years.
My
years and years.
mom used to smoke, and I think when I was real little, she told me, when you turn 18, if you haven't smoked yet, I'll give you $20. And I was like 10 or something. I was so excited. And by the way, I never got my $20, Mom.
And interest. Let's see, let me compound that. Now, if it was Chipotle's math, you would lose a little bit of interest on that. But well, you know, I have no problem if they find that it does no issues as far as making things worse from medical.
Right.
But I have a problem with all recreational drugs. I even have a problem with alcohol. I don't drink.
Right.
I mean, I used to.
Sometimes you do.
Well, yeah, but very rarely.
Right.
You
but
know,
you do. Don't
to be
say
honest,
you don't. Don't say
yeah,
you don't.
Very, very rarely.
Right.
And if it went away, I wouldn't be that upset about it because it doesn't affect me.
I would move on.
But I
would move on,
do have a problem with, and alcohol it affects the brain differently. You know, it's not a stimulant. It's not a narcotic. And narcotics mess with the neuros of your brain.
Yeah, but
that's different.
Is marijuana a narcotic?
Yes, it is a narcotic.
I don't think it is.
Yes, it is. Absolutely. It's a Schedule 1 still. And that's the biggest problem for the people on marijuana.
I don't think it affects your brain any more than alcohol does.
You don't think so?
No. Or more than tobacco does.
Okay.
You know, that's just my opinion.
I mean, I think a person could smoke a cigarette and be able to do everything they could normally do, maybe with a little bit more jittery. But I think if a person smoked a marijuana cigarette, they might not be able to do everything they can do.
Well, it depends on the person, too. You got to remember we've had that whole thing, and same thing with alcohol.
Well, if it did absolutely nothing to someone, then they wouldn't want to smoke it.
Well, yeah, I'm not saying it doesn't do anything, but I'm saying it might not hinder.
I mean,
there are some
think
people that
about
it doesn't hinder.
Because they say you don't get hooked on them. You know, like it's not addicting that way. That's what the proponents for it are saying, right?
Right.
Well, then there's got to be some reason. You know
Well,
what I
yeah.
mean?
No, it's a
it's not
willpower
that,
thing.
oh, well, I'll tell you what, it doesn't do
Let me
anything.
tell you something. Hamburgers aren't addicting either. But that doesn't mean I can stop eating them, you know.
No,
right?
that's
They're
not what I'm
addicting,
talking about.
but, you know.
Let me say that for everyone to hear.
Yeah.
Or to you too.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Anyway, no,
Pizza has never been proven
you were just
addictive.
saying, what you're just saying is that it doesn't affect you the same, any different than a cigarette. I don't think that's quite true.
I don't want to say any different. Of course it's different, but I think that the I don't know. I just get real. I think it's tough. I think it's tough to say alcohol's fine, cigarettes are fine, but marijuana's not.
Well, I don't say that.
You know, this should be legal. This should be legal. This should be not legal.
Well, I don't know, little boy. You only saw what you've seen, so I don't know. I mean, that's it. I can't say anything else.
I go by my experiences. That's what I'm talking about here. You know, I'm not a scientist. You know. So, anyways, I think it's time to wrap it up.
All right. Okay, we're at 30 minutes.
Hey, she let us go over.
I know. We won. Yes. We won.
I would love for DB. We had DB on our show last year. I would love to if she's
Was she on our video show or was she on just audio?
Before we were doing video.
Oh, man. We got to have her on.
She can call in. She can Skype in. We can put her up there.
I think it'd be better her just to call in. Maybe she doesn't really want to be seen.
It's up to her. You can Skype in. You can sit in if you want to be here in person, or if you would rather.
You'd have to sit next to me there, DB.
Yeah, you'd have to sit next to the Phatman. There's still room over there. Don't worry.
Not much.
Or you can call in if you'd rather your face not be shown, or we can maybe put some makeup on you, maybe cover your face. We can get crazy.
See, now DB is somebody who I would say it doesn't seem to affect that person. You know, because they're intelligent and they're able to do stuff. But now, the other people that I dealt with this week, I can tell you it affects them because I was there.
And I think there's plenty of people that are...
The amount that they could do before and the amount they could do after was, I mean, absolutely unbelievable. They were a flake to start with, though. Let's be honest.
Plenty of people that are flaky, and you look at them and you say, where is this person? Where is their brain? And they probably don't smoke marijuana at all.
I know. I have one of those as a kid. But the thing is, on this particular person, before... Then lunchtime happens where they go off on their own, and then after lunch, when they come back, they were a waste, an absolute freaking waste, and wasted my whole afternoon. And it took an hour and a half for this person to, snap back out of it, and I just wanted to kick them in the head. All the time saying, hey, listen, man, my time is worth something. Drink coffee. Do whatever you have to do to get better.
Small sample size.
It's something that affected me. I was very upset about it. Well, anyway, Little Boy, good show. Yep. I really want to talk about next week. I know we're trying to move from having a lot of politics, but I really want to talk about the two different candidates.
We can talk a little bit about
We're
them.
down to less than 90 days. I think it's time that we should. Well, less than 90 days. Let's see. We're in September. Well, no, not only a little bit less than September, October, November.
September 4th. I said the date at the beginning. Remember?
So we need to talk about it. We need to kind of weigh out some of the different options. I want to get your opinion on some of the programs that could have happened, didn't happen, should have happened, would have happened, what we should be doing. Because that's one thing that I've never asked you is what would your plan be?
Oh, that's interesting because I've never really.
Well, think about it. I mean, what would you do if you take what's the country? And I want to talk about this next week. What's the country's biggest problem facing them, facing the country in your eyes?
Okay.
And I want to do the same thing for me. What I think the biggest thing is, and also for anybody out there who wants to weigh in on that, what is the biggest problem facing the economy? What do you think about putting a poll up or something?
Maybe not the biggest problem, but what would you do? What
if you had free reign, but you could only get done a handful of stuff?
Yeah, I mean, we can turn. There's a whole bunch.
Sure. Well, I would go back to the moon. No.
Just 3 or 4 things that you would do
to the country today.
Yeah, That's a good one.
And that's the question because is it do you do something today for the future?
Or
do you do something today for the people right now? What do you do? And 2 to 3 topics, because that's all you're going to ever get done in 4 years.
2 to 3. You and I both. Next week we'll each have our 2 to 3 things that we would do that we think that will fix or make the country / world better.
Let's do it.
Okay.
All right, sounds like a plan.
All right.
Well, good show.
That's a good idea. Did you just come up with that, or were you thinking about it?
I was thinking about it. But my IQ is higher since I didn't have marijuana when I was younger, so I didn't. You can always reach me at Phatman@PhatmanLittleBoy.com. I had quite a few emails this week. Thank you very much. A lot of them had to do with other shows, and I can't figure out how they got Phatman for that since that's producer, but that's okay. I took them. Thank you for your tweets this week, Ray. Thank you for your constant emails. I read almost every single one of them. I can't say every single one of them because I don't want to lie. There's sometimes I look on them and I don't read them. You're going to get me at producer Phatman. That's for my Twitter handle.
Yep.
And Little Boy?
You can email me at littleboy@phatmanlittleboy.com. You can tweet me direct at LBHost. If you tweet me during the show, I got quite a few from somebody. Some of them I couldn't say on the air. But if you tweet me during the show, I'll try and address it. And if it's something inappropriate, then maybe I'll just hand the phone to Phatman and we can read it and laugh.
It wasn't inappropriate. It was funny.
It was funny, but you couldn't say it.
No. I would never say that.
But it was funny.
But let me tell you who would say it. They would say it on Family Guy.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. No, it could have been said. It was not something that would have to be beeped out. It was just, it could be seen as offensive. But it was very funny, and it was good. Well done. Well done.
All right, Little Boy, good show.
I liked it. I had a good time. I look forward to next week. I think that's going to be fun.
It's going to be interesting. Be an interesting show. And we'll see you real soon.
Take care.